What's up, you guys? It's Curlfang back with a new kind of video. This is my new series, Hot Takes, where I give you my thoughts, opinions, and suggestions of the various changes or potential changes and events going on in Ninjala. Today, we're talking about S-Blast. Originally, I thought it was an interesting concept, but you'll see during the gameplay that in many ways, it doesn't really do anything to combat an easy conversion into a bind into an opponent. Now, before I touch on S-Blast, my honest opinion of S-Burst is that it does add layers of mind games to Ninjala by having various options, with some being more beneficial due to super armor than others. And although it'll always be coined as a kind of toss-up mechanic, it really does offer mind games after winning a parry, as you can kind of start to condition your opponent and read their habits. Also, there is a decent neutral reset option, with the dash out of parry at the cost of S energy. In terms of payment, you're paying 9 energy to S burst and have the chance at escaping, which isn't a cheap option. Looking at the metagame and how prevalent dashing out of parries became in Season 3, it begins to make sense to have the game revolve around resetting to neutral. In comparison to S burst, S blast instead is just a hard reset for neutral. And this really does make sense in this kind of game because this game preys on neutral, and I do think it's a lot more favorable to reset the situation, especially if you don't have S energy or you don't have a full bar to reset it, right? S burst takes 8 to 9 S energy just to burst and dash out, whereas this is only going to take you 4, right? So it's going to be a lot more beneficial in that case. The one thing that I really do like about S Blast is that there's only one parry shockwave, and that's the initial one. As compared to S Burst, where you can clash multiple times, it feels really bad to do this because you're essentially, when you're clashing multiple times, you're wasting your time and the opponent's time, and it's going to be slowing and halting the pace of the game for you, where you're really kind of stuck, and if you don't win, you lose, right? And then you also put other people, if you continue to parry and clash, you're allowing for other people to kind of get in position to take both of you out and punish both of you, right? So there's a lot favoring that you're going to come out of this parry losing, right? In the case that they do end up keeping the S-Burst mechanic, I would like to see one big change, and that's instead of clashing, I'd rather have it so you S-Blast when you guys both pick the same option and no one has armor. This way it kind of resets neutral, resets both of you, and it's going to be more significant to S-Burst as it's going to cut off your losses, right? You're going to kind of maintain your pace of the game and also reduce the power of third party in this way, which is going to be significant in especially BR, but also in teams. Right at this beginning of the match, I want you guys to understand that S-Blast versus S-Burst isn't actually going to change, especially at higher levels, right? It's not going to change the metagame very much because people are still going to be able to convert off of one hit into a gum grenade and get a free eco. In terms of having significance, it's not going to have any, especially at higher ranks and higher player skill level. And I think if they really did want to switch up the meta and kind of make it so you're unable to do this, I think the mechanic they need to add in is that parries can reflect gum shots, or the parry stance, right? If you go into your parry stance and you're able to reflect a gum shot, then people are going to be less likely to use a gum shot and maybe more likely to use break attack, right? And this gives you more options, kind of making the game a lot less dependent on neutral. It makes the game more read dependent, especially for breaks, right? It'll make the game less of, oh, I hit you once, now you die. Mentioning this reflector kind of mechanic, I do think it would be a cool shinobi card. It would definitely change up how things go regarding wall shooter and hyena. I think a lot of people would be running this mechanic kind of as a way to combat just the sheer strength of wall shooter and hyena. So maybe they'll consider it, who knows. I said it here first. Ultimately, if they want to make the game faster and a little less random, S-Blast is definitely going to be the way to go from a gameplay standpoint. This will also reduce the power of third partying, and it's going to make you have more uptime as the player. Of course, there's going to be improvements that they need to make, one of which is having the zone kind of nullify maybe incoming gumshoots or utsusemis, right? I've seen it where an utsusemi is dropped right before a parry happens and they get bound, and I don't think it's intended to be that way, but who knows. I'm sure we'll see updates to this if they do implement it. One other thing is that you could get gum damage by like a gum grenade, and let me go ahead and roll the clip. So here you're gonna kind of see me just go ahead and fight this guy, and you're gonna see that I'm able to drop a grenade. I hit and drop a grenade, and then I hit again, and he just gets bound. And I mean, that's not in that person's favor at all. So I'm pretty sure they'll change it, but just so hopefully they watch this and they know, these changes should probably be implemented, because then it's basically saying, oh, I'm going to be favoring, I should be in a favorable position, maybe I'm resetting neutral, but I actually can't reset neutral. Right? One other thing that I feel like should be a little more smoothed out is how quickly it actually occurs. I know it's a test mode, but I feel like the game itself is still, it's like confused, and it takes its time to decide which option to pick, like S-Blast or S-Burst. So hopefully they fix that and make it come out a little more smoothly. One thing I really do like is the animations they kind of added. If you haven't seen them, try to find some videos. They have some cool little animations that they did add, which is a nice little touch considering all things. Lastly, I want to give Gung Ho some ideas on adjusting the current Shinobi cards surrounding S-Burst. For the first one, Sudden Burst, just change it into Sudden Blast. And then for the cards, you can have it give you more time to ippon your opponent after in order to reap the benefits. Or alternatively, you could kind of just have it adjusted so if you do get an S-Blast off, you're going to get the benefits from the card. Especially because sometimes people know how to punish and make reads. There's a lot more opportunity for the card to kind of see more use this way, right? Where if you do get a successful S-Blast, you're going to benefit off of it. They could also tweak the current Shinobi cards on S-Burst, on the S-Burst card, and instead make it so the assist code can slow the opponent down, making it harder for the other person to escape, and you can kind of engage in the fight. In terms of double-edged parry, there's a lot they could adjust and tweak, or they could kind of keep it the same. One of the assist codes I think that would be really interesting is that if they increase the shockwave size, and that would be allowing to make a more disruptive kind of playstyle with this card, allowing it to kind of take up more space and knock back other people, right? This would be an interesting mechanic because in teams you could initiate a parry near a drone and just kind of clear out everyone and reset the situation for your whole team. In terms of this mode being an actual featured battle, it was very underwhelming, especially because we were playing against bots. I think for further tests we should instead be able to implement the rules into a room battle. That way we can kind of test with our friends, experiment, kind of understand the mechanic they want us to try out a little more, and we can better see what's broken with it, what's not broken, and send them like better feedback, right? And all of this is in the sake of progress and making the game better. If they want a better experience, want to make a better experience for the players, then they're able to get better feedback and have quantity over quality of feedback in terms of feedback. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit me up in the comments about your thoughts on the matter, whether you like S-Blast or S-Burst better and why. Also give me your thoughts on the Reflector Shinobi card. Do you think that would change the metagame? Do you think it'd be run by everyone? I'd love to hear it. And finally, if you did enjoy the video, please subscribe for more content. See you guys around. Have a good one.